Right. What's up? What's up? What's up? Eagle Like Geeks and Freaks, and to our wonderful Facebook group, The Toys We Love. If you haven't got into our Toys We Love group, probably could give it to you right here. Let's see. There it is right there. All right. We'll stream it across the bottom. So you guys can see it down here. All right. It's got a lot to talk about. I haven't done a stream in a little bit. It's been a little busy. First of all, it's freaking cold here in Jersey. It is freezing. We got about a foot of snow over the weekend, I'd say. And if you didn't get out and plow, well, you're going to be trapped in ice now because it's been freezing over, and it has not been pretty for those of you who have not worked your way out of it yet. Sorry, I'm going through some of these pieces here. There we go. All right. So it has not been pretty if you're trapped. Well, I hope you're doing okay. And a lot of you are experiencing the cold. Some of you are just getting cold, no snow. We're supposed to get some more snow this weekend. But I hope everybody's okay. So that's first things first. I did get some packages in. Some were delayed because of the weather, which is why I bring that up. But let's get into the meat of it, shall we? I'm going to start a couple things small, and I'm going to work my way through. Some of the things I'm going to show you today. I'm going to show you things that I've shown you before. They are in reference to it and part of the series, if you will. And hopefully the phones don't go off and ring. All right, let's start with the most basic of basics. First thing that I got that I really, really like is this Matchbox Star Car Jaws collection. So you basically got a police boat up there with two police officers in it that don't move. You have the shark below, and you even have this really cool Matchbox box. On the back, they have things like little trivia questions and so on. I can't see what year this is made. This isn't that old. This was, oh, is it that old? Yeah, I guess it is. Forgive me. This is right? Okay, this is 1997 by Mattel Incorporated. And funny thing is, it is in here in Mount Laurel, New Jersey. Matchbox used to have an office up in Moonachie, New Jersey, which was quite north way back in the day. Moonachie is a really nice little town. This is Mount Laurel, which is about 45 minutes where I live. New Jersey's not that big. I had no idea they had a factory and office down. That's pretty good. I did not realize these were 1997. I thought these were actually in the 2000s. So that's a nice little sweet piece of history right there. It's about, 20, yeah, about 29 years old, I guess. Did not realize. Well, if that's correct, if I have this right, even though it doesn't look like, oh my God, there's no way this is from 1997. Is it? It says 1997 Mattel. Holy shit, Mount Laurel, New Jersey. That can't be right. It looks too new. The damn thing is like brand new, like it's hardly been touched. So regardless, it's a great piece. If you love Jaws, which I do, I'm terrified of sharks, even though I love them. I think they're really cool, but I don't want to get in the water with them. So I've seen what they can do. They make me a little nervous. All right, let's move on to the next thing that I have here. This came in this week, and this is our Marx or Marx Toys Midnight Horse from the Ready Gang. The Ready Gang, he's posable to a point. His head doesn't move, but his legs do, and he has quite a bit of joining down here. Great accessories and so on the saddle. Ready Gang was back in the 70s. I have to say, very, very underrated. They're all along scale with the Gabriel Lone Ranger series, who Marx wound up buying those later and making those toys themselves and coming up with some new stuff. But this is a great, great series. Big props. Thank you to Brian. I am the Sausage King of Chicago, Sanchez, for getting me started on this line. This is actually, so that's Midnight. This is Dagger. This is obviously boxed. It's a pretty cool figure. I got this from a lady who collects horses, not really action figures. This horse, Dagger, goes with the Sundown Kid, which is, I would say, the blondish dude in the series. Here's the Sundown Kid. These were gifts from Brian Sanchez, the figures. Horses I bought, but Brian was kind enough to give them to me for Christmas. Then we've got, of course, Trooper Gibson. And this Midnight Horse goes to Trooper Gibson. Dagger goes to the Sundown Kid. Well, you can get whatever horse you want, I guess. And then there's the last one, which is kind of the baddie of the group, which would be Ringo. And his horse is brown with kind of a white ass on the back of it, if you will. and that's Thunder. I've been trying to find Thunder. Not easy. I'm going to say this. Marx Toys built tons of horses for the Lone Ranger series, for the Johnny West series, horses in general they just sold, probably for Barbie dolls or additional horses. And they've got pretty much the same. Some of them don't really, some of them have no real posability, but they have other ones that have the same kind of posability. They look similar. Some probably came out of the same mold and they repainted them, but they're great. And you can actually add them to your Lone Ranger series. These all go together with Lone Ranger series. They even have a small town set for the Ready Gang, which I'm going to guess is damn near impossible to find, but I'll keep looking for it. If anybody comes across one they don't want, let me know. All right, let me move these down. Because we're on the, talked a little about the Lone Ranger, I want to show you guys this. Okay. This is the mailer box for a Lone Ranger set. You can see it's got the triangular shape to it, if you will, as all Lone Ranger boxes did. This one actually came from JC Penney. Now, this box is original. This goes back to the 70s. It was mailed this way, or put in something else and mailed this way. Probably put in another box and mailed this way. Or maybe it came inside. I don't know. No, actually it was mailed, and I'll tell you why. Because you can see where this tape was taken off, and you can see where it was also the tape marks on the back. It might be hard to see on camera, but right here on both sides, you can see the tape did a little, just a tiny little bit of damage, a little bit of color damage to some of that box. So it was taped. I'm assuming maybe it wasn't mailed this way, but maybe it was inside. Something else was mailed, but it's a really cool set. Now, this set I've been dying to have because this is the one Lone Ranger set I remember as a kid that I bought when I lived in the Middle East for a few years. This is the Carson City Bank robbery. The things are a little bit loose inside. Now, when I bought mine, even I can remember this, it was 40, Jesus Christ, it was almost 45 years ago. There was a place there called Moon's Plaza in a country called Bahrain. And Moon's Plaza had this little store. I'm not even sure how I got there. Maybe I think I rode my bike. But everything in Bahrain was basically a desert and buildings back then. And this Moon Plaza and these steps you would go up. Matter of fact, the place still exists. I actually looked it up. It's still there, still called Moon's Plaza. I don't know. I'm sure the insides have changed, but all I remember is this little tiny store in the end. It was kind of this kind of narrow store, and you go up these steps. It was a little dark inside, and they sold just a variety of crap. Some of the things they had were some toys. Some things they had were some comic books. The comic books were more like Richie Rich, Little Lulu, Boris Karloff Tales of Mystery, and Grimm's Ghost Stories. And that's kind of where I got hooked on the kind of the horror comic books, if you will, a little bit as a kid. But I bought this set. Now, when I bought this set back then, see, it's got this really cool safe in it. It has some coins, they're a little bit too big. We've got the dynamite and the plunger. We've got there's a mask, which I believe is probably the same. Yeah, that looks like the same mask as the Lone Ranger. So if you ever need one, you want to buy the set, which is a little expensive. We've got this Mexican sombrero, some handcuffs, a money bag, bullets. We have paper money. There's a Butch Cavendish Wanted poster. There's a little comic in here, and there's something else in the top, which I can't see what it is because it's floating. Oh, looks like a mask or a bandana up here. Now, when I bought mine, this door to the safe was warped heavily. So you have this nice safe, and the door was like warped, like it was melted. But I said, oh, when I bought it, it didn't look like the package was damaged. I said, oh, maybe it's supposed to look like they blew the safe up with dynamite. And I had that for years and years and years until I decided to start getting rid of my toys when I got into my teens, handed them off to someone, and off we went. Now, this particular set is made by Gabriel, as you can see right here. This is pre-Louis Marx days. I'm not sure if there was a Louis Marx version of this. Louis Marx probably did, but they had a bunch of sets where the logo was changed to Louis Marx. They didn't just put a sticker on it. It was a little bit redesigned on some of the sets, and it looked good. And then they did their own disguises, if you will. But this happens to be my favorite set. I love that it's still in the box. The artwork is phenomenal. There's a comic on the back describing what's going on. These are interesting in that they are triangles, and the Lone Ranger, all the sets aren't the same size. Some of them are way bigger than this, some are smaller, or this might be the smallest one they have, but they're all different sizes, so they don't quite stack together as well as you think. But there are other sets that you can, so you can kind of have them put half them to each other and put them together. But this is my favorite set. I looked a long time, and it happened to get really expensive, so I'm like, I finally saw it. I said, well, it's got this really cool mailer box, and I almost thought I wasn't going to get it because the seller waited like 2 weeks to ship it. And I'm like, okay. He had really good feedback from most people. He had some where no communication, never received the item, just shit like that. I'm like, oh, I already had that happen at least 3 times in the last couple of months where stuff just didn't get mailed. And sorry, I'm fucking exhausted. Stuff didn't get mailed. And I'm like, oh, I'm never going to get it. And they don't respond, and they got to go to eBay. And then eBay makes you wait like 2 weeks to put it in. Then you got to wait another week. It's just a nightmare. Anyway, that being said. All right, the next thing I want to talk about a little bit here, actually, let's do these next, is this Big Jim figure that came in. So I thought this was great on eBay. It was an inexpensive Big Jim Olympic figure. It was in Canada, and I got it for a really good price. Shipping was a little heavy, but I came in today, and what I didn't realize, where's the dumbbell for it? I said there was 2, and I think one of them didn't make it. But what I didn't realize when I'm looking at this, all right, it's Big Jim. Well, here's my other Big Jim Olympic figure. If you take a very close look, let's see if we can do this. There's a couple of differences. This one, first of all, is like new. It'll stand on its own legs. These Big Jims, usually the feet get loose, like these are loose. These are not. These are tight, so they haven't loosened up. If you take a look, for example, he's got this Olympic medal. He's got this round gold medal with this string. This one is kind of like that thinner string. This one, if you take a look at the medal, and I just noticed this, and I didn't notice this when I bought it. Let's move this back. The string is different. It's more like honestly, it's more like a thicker cord than a string. But if you look at the medal, and it might be hard to see, but there's a Canadian maple leaf on there, and the shape is oval instead of round. There's a huge difference in the medals, which I didn't realize, and I'm kind of glad I got it so I could learn a little something new. I love learning new shit all the time about this stuff. The other thing is the backs down here where they're stamped on the bottom, they're actually different. I was just talking to some of the guys in the Big Jim group. So if we look at the American one on the back, it's stamped Mattel Incorporated, US foreign patented, Hong Kong. In a bigger font on the Canadian one, it says same thing. Sorry, both say 1971 Mattel Incorporated. This says Hong Kong, US, and foreign patented. So it's actually different. But this is the Olympic one. You can tell by the shorts. Usually the shorts are pretty worn out from play or whatever it may be. But I thought those were really cool. I was very excited to be able to get something that has variety. Big Jim was basically the Barbie for boys, if you will, as far as the number of figures, accessories, and all that stuff. It was just, it never ended. And half the stuff or more that was made for Big Jim was made also for Barbie. Just they changed the graphics. They renamed it. I mean, you name it, it's out there. There's tons and tons. You could do tons and tons of research. Okay, the last things I want to show you, and this is it. I'm trying to keep these short so not too long. From the company that brought you things like this, the Spider-Man Mobile Crime Lab, which is a great van, if you will. This one's missing a couple of parts. There's a bumper here missing on the front with the headlights. A very, very cool van. They did Hulk. They did all kinds of stuff. They also did Jeeps, and they did helicopters like this Batman helicopter. And big thank you to Troy Alamanis for sending this to me, because this is something I didn't have the box. He sent it to me, and I was so excited to get this. And yes, I did repay him in the end. I'm not one of those guys that goes on YouTube and tries to get free shit like some people. We'll leave them nameless. But the Empire Toys made Jeeps, helicopters, vans. Very, very, very popular with me, if you will. I had them as a kid. So being a completist, I've seen some of these loose. Actually, I've seen the Jeep loose. I never saw the van in this format, and I never saw them boxed. So I did do a live video on our group, The Toys We Love. And I'm not going to take them out of the box, but you'll get an idea. This is actually the Empire Toys. Yes, it's the Powder Puff Jeep. It's the same Jeep they made for the Chuck Wagon, for the Americana, which is a red, white, and blue one I did a couple of weeks ago. What else is up there? The Army Jeep, which was done the military style. The Wrangler Jeep, which is the Golden Eagle Jeep. There's a whole bunch of them. And this just happens to be one of them. You can see, yes, it's in pink and blue and white. The box is pretty cool. And the one thing about these boxes, it's really, these are thick boxes. You can almost ship in these. When I did the Americana Jeep, I showed you guys a couple of weeks ago in another video. You can go back and take a look. is that the box it came in is extremely flimsy. There must have been an insert inside because it was basically paperboard. Every other Empire Toys box I've seen is heavy cardboard. It's made to be a little bit rigid, if you will. Now, because I found that and I was looking, this I had taken out in another video. I'm not going to take it out now. I'll just show you the box. But it is inside, I promise you, and it is complete. It even has the sticker sheet they're already applied, but the sticker sheet's still there. This is the actual powder puff van, which is the same as the Spider-Man van if you take a look, but it's in pink and white. I know it looks yellow in the box, but they use a white box, so it's yellow. It's the same design of the van, the same as the Chips van, same as the Hulk van, the same as the, God, what else do we have up there? A whole bunch. There is one van that's different. It's actually not even a van. It's a VW bus. It's called the Camper VW bus. They kind of marketed towards girls for Barbie. It literally, instead of being in a van like this, it's a Barbie. It's a Volkswagen camper bus, if you will. But they've also done the rescue van, the Chips van, Spider-Man lab, crime lab, Hulk van. I mean, there's a bunch up there. So these are fun to collect. They take a lot of space, and that's the hardest part about having them. But they're a lot of fun, and I think they're cool. And if you're completist, you might as well, like I am, you're going to wind up going to get everything as much as you can. Try and get them all, regardless of who they've been catered to. All right, that is it for today. Thank God, that was exhausting. Oh, no, wait, there's more. Hold on. And a big thank you to Dan Samillo, Dinosaur Dan, for sending me. These are parts that go to Steve Aventurier, who comes on a tongue body. I forgot to bring a figure over. Also to Tasco the Indian. There's all kinds of parts in there. He was cleaning up some stuff, and he said, hey, I want to send these to you. I was like, awesome. They're great. He is basically an 8-inch G.I. Joe as far as, or Action Jackson maybe is another one where they have a whole bunch of outfits and a figure. They go on safari and military, and they did pirates. They even did ones where he's like, I think, a clown in the circus. They did all kinds of stuff, all kinds of stuff, but lots and lots. And these accessories are hard to find. They're hard to get. The figures themselves are hard to find, but if you get them, hold on to them. So big thank you. Super props to Dan Samillo. Thank you. Thank you very much. All right, that is it. We are done for tonight. Thank you for watching. I really appreciate you guys checking it out. If you like, you can check old videos over there or former videos I have. There's over 300 in there. You can take a look. All kinds of shit going on. Some were live, some were pre-recorded, but in any case, enjoy. Thanks and have a good evening.